Let's quickly unbox this thing and see how easy it is to assemble. Here is exactly how the Tuttio ICT comes right out of the box. Partially disassembled with the tires deflated. And here's everything else that came in the package. Front fender appears to be similar to a Sur-Ron style, but I like this satin black finish that they went with. Front wheel with a 220 millimeter brake rotor. Tire size is 20 by 4 inch front and rear. Seems to be some sort of all-terrain tread. I believe this bike is designed for on and off-road use. The tread design kind of reminds me of what comes on the Super73 RX model. I think they're called the Grizzly tires. Kickstand, user manual, assembly guide with parts list, toolkit, some hardware and zip ties. I believe this is the serial number. Front axle, front number plate with a built-in headlight. This also kind of reminds me of the Super73 design, which I really like. We're gonna see how bright it is tonight. Pedals, and a little case that you can put like your phone and your wallet in while you ride, which is pretty nice. This is a 67.2 volt, 2.5 amp charger, meaning this is a 60 volt bike. Not too impressed with that charge rate. I was really hoping to see something like a 5 amp. They also included a floor pump in case you don't have one. Let's get this thing fully assembled, then we'll go over all the specs and features. It's interesting that they have a bunch of holes at the bottom of the frame. I wonder what that's for. I can't imagine that's for cooling, and I think that that's a controller in there. So the ICT was initially released back in 2025, but since then, Tuttio has made a few updates to this bike, such as the front through axle, reinforced frame with a load capacity of 330 pounds, and supposedly more power. It's got a claimed top speed of 43 to 49 miles per hour, depending on rider weight. It's got a 60 volt, 25 amp hour lithium battery pack. It's supposed to supply a range for up to 75 to 100 miles using pedal assist, or 30 to 39 miles using throttle only. It's got a super bright LED headlight, tail lamp with a functional brake light, bright LCD display. It's got full suspension, fork is not adjustable, though the rear is an air shock that you can change the pressure depending on your rider weight. I'm not gonna make any changes to that for now. I just wanna see how it rides right out of the box. It's got 20-inch wheels with 4-inch all-terrain tires that are supposed to be puncture-proof. Brake rotors are 220 millimeter front and rear, and that's paired with some 4-piston brake calipers. It's got a Shimano 7-speed derailleur, and it's running on a geared hub motor, 2,000 watts with a peak output of 4,000 watts. It's got a full twist throttle with a keyed ignition. To turn the bike on, you just hold the power button down for 3 seconds. It starts at a 0 pedal assist mode, which means the throttle is going to be completely deactivated. To activate the throttle, you have to switch to at least mode 1. Wow, that's pretty torquey for the lowest setting. There are 5 different settings, 5 being the fastest and 1 being the slowest. On the left side here, you got the headlight switch, horn, The hydraulic brakes are made by a brand called Kitet. They're using dot fluid. The display is very bright. Center shows your speed, left side shows your battery charge, and right side shows what mode you're in. If you apply the brakes, it'll show this exclamation mark on the top right center. It tells me that this bike has brake sensors on both levers. To toggle through the different figures on the display, you just press the power button quickly. On the bottom left, you've got max speed, average speed, and voltage. And then here on the right, you've got the trip reading and odometer reading. This bike came with 2 sets of keys. The smaller one's for the ignition and the larger one is actually for the battery. You can either charge the battery on the bike through this charge port on the side, or you can take the battery off and charge it inside your house or your office. Just twist the key clockwise and it'll release the battery. Press this button right here. It'll drop the front of the battery. That is something to note for Tuttio. The battery is a little bit harder to remove with the front fender on. Discharge current 60 amps. I was checking out some of the reviews for the 2025 models and I saw that the battery had a discharge rating of 50 amps. So this is going to be more powerful. So the power output of this bike is supposed to peak out around 4,000 watts, but it's actually able to maintain at least 3,600, assuming that the controller is properly tuned for it. Let's see what the speed is capped at electronically in mode 1. Seems to be 18 miles per hour. Jump straight to mode 5. Seems to be 52.4 miles per hour with no load. We'll see how fast it actually is with a 180-pound rider. If you're interested in getting more information on the new ICT, I'll leave a link to their listing in the description below. You can also save yourself a couple bucks by using discount code PATOutdoors. I'm just going to jump straight to the highest power setting. I'm actually out here in Maryland. I'm riding with my buddy Elmer, who's on his Super73 RX. I believe that is a class 3 that's limited to 28 miles per hour, but his is modified. I think it goes something close to 40 miles per hour. It is so freaking cold outside. I think it's like 27 degrees, but we gotta test this thing for y'all. God, my hands are frozen. I cannot cruise at these higher speeds. But so far though, the bike's riding pretty smooth. Riding position's pretty comfortable for a 5'8" rider. The suspension in the rear seems like it's compressing properly. So the front suspension fork seems oddly stiff. Oh, it was way too cold for this.
I know, my face hurts.
Oh, I forgot that this thing has pedals. I gotta say, it does feel a little awkward to pedal though. Like either the cranks are a little bit too long or the seat is positioned too close to the pedal. I do like that it has a full twist throttle though. I'm not a big fan of like half twist throttles on some e-bikes. Oh, okay, so this thing does have some sort of cadence sensor, it feels like. Whoa. When it senses your feet moving, it'll just take off, no matter how slow or how fast you're pedaling. So look at how slow I'm pedaling. But we're already going almost 30 miles per hour, over 30 miles per hour. Yeah, this bike is definitely a lot faster than Elmer's Super73 RX, even with his aftermarket controller installed. But I think that bike is a 52 volt though. It's only to be expected with a 60 volt system with 4,000 watts of power. One thing I gotta remember is this is set up like a regular bicycle as far as how the brakes are configured. The right side is the rear and the left side is the front brake. And I'm a little bit more used to how e-motos are set up since I usually ride like an ETM RTR or a Tuttio Soleil. And the brakes are configured like a traditional e-moto where the left is the rear. So that is something that I'm considering switching in the near future, just so I don't get confused when I switch back and forth between the other bikes. But obviously if you're coming from regular e-bikes, that wouldn't be an issue. Hey, how much is one of those bikes?
$4 grand.
$4 grand?
Yeah.
And it's a 52 volt?
48 stock.
48.
I upgraded mine to 52.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's a $4,000 bike in completely stock form, plus its modifications. And this Tuttio is only 1,600 bucks and goes over 40 miles per hour. Not quite the 43 to 49 miles per hour that the manufacturer stated, but they did say that that's without load on it. I like how bright the display is though. It's super easy to read during the daytime. All right, we're gonna test out the suspension and see how this thing handles off-road.
You said that's 60 volt?
Yeah, it's a 60 volt. It comes with a 25 amp hour battery.
I have a battery in this.
Oh, I see.
Here.
I was like, this looks like a 20 amp hour battery, but you have another battery in here.
Yeah.
I see some inspiration with the headlight designs. Your suspension looks like it's a D&M, similar to what I get on Talaria, but a little bit shorter. I'm curious to see what you think of the ergonomics, speed, power, and ride overall. Since you ride a similar class bike, how much money do you have into this Super 73?
I'll be fully transparent. When I bought the bike, that was like when Super had like a really big affiliate program. They kind of cut me a deal.
If you're a normal person that walked into the Super 73 store, how much is this bike and how much are the upgrades for it? That's the Tapia seat.
Yep. Frame bag, that one was about $350. They don't make them anymore. The shock goes for about $700 when I bought it, which is a Fox Evo.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
So pretty premium.
That's an air shock.
Yeah, HandleWorks controller, I think that goes for about $600.
This bike, as it stands today, is over $5,000.
I would say, yeah.
Do you want to ride my $1,600 bike and just let me know what you think?
That's how much this goes for?
Yeah.
And it has like...
But I think you can get it for a little bit less if you use discount code PAT Outdoors.
Of course you can. That price point and you get more power than what I put into that, you know, you get that stock, you know what I mean? That's pretty good.
Ride it first and let me know what you think later. 220 pounds, 5'11", this is what he looks like on a Tuttio ICT. So the Supers come with a thumb throttle. I do prefer full grip twist throttles on my bikes. And don't get me wrong, these are really, really nice bikes, but I just don't know if I can spend over $5,000 on a bike that doesn't go 40 miles per hour. He looks like he's flying on there.
Feels good. Suspension, I was just doing some standing bounces on it. Maybe because I'm heavier or I'm just so used to this one. It feels like very, what's the word? Almost stiff, like not as bouncy.
I was just saying that on the way here. The fork feels oddly stiff.
Yeah.
The rear seems like it's compressing just fine.
Yeah. It doesn't look like you can adjust it, huh?
This is supposed to be adjustable as far as air pressure, but the fork I don't believe is adjustable. It takes a lot of effort to compress the fork. Where are we?
Mountain bike track, mountain bike park.
Okay.
Some people know this is where I crashed on my bike.
Well, let's see how it performs in off-road situations then. Yeah, I don't know if I'm doing that with this bike.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
All right. Bottom bracket's not too low on this. What is that noise? Oh, I see. I was trying to figure out what that noise was, but it's actually the front fender hitting the bottom side of the fork. God damn. Yo, this is a pretty sweet mountain bike park. Oh, we may have bottomed out the fork there.
How's it feel off-road so far?
Pretty good, though there's too much air at the front or something. I thought I bottomed it out, but I think it just compressed and sprung back too fast. There was one thing that I'm not a big fan of on this bike so far is the front fork. Like the Tuttio Soleil has a hydraulic fork. I can feel that there's some sort of dampening. I don't know. I might just run it no fender, then it's not gonna make all that noise when we're off-road next. The rear suspension feels pretty good. Brakes feel pretty good. Tires have decent grip. That is too much. not bad. Ooh. As far as the speed, power, braking power, overall comfort when you're riding on long distances, I think the Tuttio ICT is a pretty good bike for that, but it's definitely not a mountain bike. Not bad though. It handles off-road situations pretty good, just not jumps. Yeah, this is a nice little trail. I kind of want to drag race you from a stop. All right, on 3. $1,600 versus $5,000. Not a bad bike at all. I certainly wouldn't call it a dirt bike or a mountain bike, but if you're looking for something comfortable to ride in, go over 40 miles per hour, and have decent range, and have pedals on it so you don't get in trouble by local law enforcement, then the Tuttio ICT might be for you. The speedometer seems to be pretty accurate. It's showing 17.8 miles per hour when it's showing 17 on the GPS. So 18 miles per hour is where mode 1 is completely capped at. Let's see what it is at mode 2. Showing 24 miles per hour, mode 3, 29.9 miles per hour on the display, but it's showing 28 on the GPS. Let's see, mode 4. So mode 4 seems to be capped around 36.4 miles per hour. All right, let's see what mode 5 is capped at. And mode 5 is confirmed to be capped at 40 miles per hour. It does feel like the bike is starting to lose some of the low-end torque as the charge drops. Under load, it's showing 54.3 volts. Again, it's 27 degrees right now, so some voltage sag is to be expected, but it's still maintaining a decent speed. Looks like we're still hitting 34, 35 miles per hour with less than half charge. All right, as far as range, we've done over 13 miles on this trip so far, and the battery charge is settling around 56.7 volts. So what is that, about 35-40% charge? That's pretty good considering we've pretty much been at mode 5 the whole time and cruising around 35 to 40 miles per hour. If you want to get more information on the Tuttio ICT, I'll leave a link to the listing in the description below. You can also save yourself a couple bucks by using discount code PATOutdoors. Alright guys, if you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you like this kind of content, want to keep up with some of my projects or some of my bike reviews, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn your bell notification on. But this is going to be it for today. Thank you for watching.